Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I wouldn't usually pop in at the beginning of a video like this, but there's a couple of things which I just want to talk about before we start the video. So as you can see that by the title, this video is a 1-week study with me. So basically revision I did every night of the week for a week, like just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So the first thing I want to say is this is a collab with one of my friends, Lily. She does really good videos. She does a bit of beauty, a bit of school. She is doing a study with me for a week as well. So you should definitely go and watch her video, it will be in the description. Secondly, although this is the revise with me every night of the week, that is by no means saying that I revise every night of the week. In fact, this is the first time I think in literally years that I've revised every night of the week. It's definitely in sixth form, and most likely even throughout year 11, like I almost always have a night off. Even when I did my other revise with me for a week, I took Friday night off. So this is literally the first time I've ever done this. Most weeks I might revise 1 or 2 nights a week, if that. So by no means can you generalise this, and don't feel like you're inadequate about your revision if you don't revise every night of the week, because this is a complete one-off for me, and the reason I did this was for this video. Like, the video was what motivated me to revise every night, and it was actually really hard. I'm going to be uploading a weekly vlog of this week as well on my vlog channel, which is always linked down below, and you can see the behind the scenes and how demotivated I felt all week, because it was the last week of term and I was just very tired and demotivated. But basically all this work was homework and the spot of revision for the odd test, but most of it was like due in the next day, and I was like, I need to get it done. So it was kind of like a challenge for me. It was like, can I revise every night of the week for a week? And I succeeded. I was very proud of myself. And yeah, that's about all I have to say. I don't revise at this all the time. I hope that makes sense. I hope I've cleared it up, and let's get on with the video. So as you can see here, I started off on my Monday morning free, getting some maths questions out of the way, and I managed to finish those in that free. And then in my second free period, I decided to do some psychology flashcards for an upcoming test. And when I got home, I made myself some tea. I made myself some Clipper Earl Grey, which is really nice. And then I headed upstairs and consulted my new to-do list, and I'm now using this weekly to-do list because it can show me what I need to do more easily. So I then went and completed some notes on some genocides. I was doing a presentation on it and I wanted to have a nice set of notes to refer back to, and then from these notes I was able to make flashcards on what I was going to say, and I could just keep referring back to the full breadth of information if I got stuck on the brief information from the flashcards. So these are the flashcards which I made. As I was going to use these when presenting, I made the points very brief and used different colours, and then I put my extensive notes away into my drawer, and I actually practiced presenting it. So basically I got out the voice recorder on my laptop, and then I just used the flashcard to present it. And when I'd finished talking it through with myself, I felt a lot more confident in what I was going to say. I'd really recommend this, even like for normal flashcards, so you can look back at it and see if you've got everything. And then after I had rehearsed it, I listened to it in my earphones and just made annotations of what I forgot and what I said, and just so that I knew that I basically covered everything. So I just checked over what I'd said, and it was mostly pretty good actually, and I was very happy. And this took me 36 minutes, which maybe was a bit too long, but then I went and ticked it off on my weekly to-do list, which I found really useful because I can see how much I've had done during the week. And then I got out my history textbook, as I had a massive homework due for the next day, which I hadn't started. So I lit myself a candle and then I got started on the homework. So it was basically a note-taking homework, but it was from about 11 pages of the textbook, and like I've only just become good at taking concise notes, but 11 pages is quite a lot for me. So I basically did about 3/4, 2/3 this night, and then in my Tuesday morning free, I finished it off, and the teacher wasn't even there, so I didn't have to stress, but that took me about an hour. I got myself another tea and had a little study break, and then I did just a little bit more. I did another little table of notes. So I did start off by taking notes on plain paper, and then I started making them in this booklet that we've been given, because the booklet didn't allow you to make notes on what you wanted. It was very like fine-tuning, so I wanted to have the full set of notes and then I could fine-tune them onto the sheet. So this is what I'm doing here, and then the rest of the notes I did in the booklet, because it does force me to write less and be less extensive. So I think we were doing, this section was about the housing within the Soviet Union, and I actually found this so interesting. Like, everyone else said it was boring, but this is the sort of thing that really interests me, so I actually quite enjoyed making these notes. For me, this was quite a late night, as if you know me quite well, I tend to go to bed or stop working at least around 8 o'clock, but as you can see it's already 10 in this, so it was quite a late night, but it eventually got done and I finished it off in my Tuesday morning free, and I did about 3 hours of revision that night, so I was pretty proud of myself. And then I ticked it off of my to-do list, and these were the handwritten notes which I made. And then on Tuesday morning, and it was actually 6:30 in the morning rather than 6:30 at night, I got up and just did some more of those history notes because I got too tired the night before to finish them. And then at school in my free, I completely finished them, and this is kind of the environment, I guess. And this was in my history lesson, which my teacher wasn't there for, so we got set another set of notes which I was doing then. And then I got home, and as this was Tuesday, the next day was Wednesday, and on Wednesday we had a history test for the GDR. So I just went through and basically on a flashcard I just wrote down a load of questions that I thought might be asked, or questions or little facts that I thought were important, and I just wrote those down on the flashcard and just to see like my knowledge. And then I decided to go onto my laptop as I'd recently taken a photo of the board in class of this chart our teacher drew, and I decided to finally copy it up. And after this I went back to the flashcard, and then I made amendments to my notes from my folder as I'd done the flashcard without notes. So then I went and added information to the flashcard that I thought was important, or corrected it if it was wrong, and most of it was right, so I was quite happy. Obviously I just guessed like random things that could come up, some of them actually did, so I was quite happy. But then I went and ticked off the revision on my to-do list. So Wednesday I have my last free of the week, so I just finished some maths questions during that free, as you can see here. And then basically I got home and I was kind of procrastinating for a really long time, but eventually went and made myself a cup of tea and ticked off the stuff that I'd done in my free. And as I had 2 things due the next day, which was some psychology evaluation points and some more history notes that I started on Tuesday, if you remember, I decided I need to get those done that night as they were due in the next day. So I started on the psychology evaluation because I knew it wasn't going to take me that long, and I knew if I did history first, by the time I finished that I'd be so tired that I wouldn't do my psychology. So we had a photocopy from a textbook, so I just highlighted that and the points, and then I recorded them down into my notes, and that literally took me like 20 minutes. It wasn't an issue. Once that was done, I just filed it into my folder and I ticked it off of my to-do list, and I moved on to my history. So basically I got my big textbook out and a sheet, and I just started filling in the sheet. And this took me a really long time, I'm not gonna lie. It took me a lot longer than I wanted, and I ended up having to save it for the free the next day as well. So yeah. And here I decided to move the camera so that you couldn't see me working, so I apologise, but I moved it back again, and I finished this quite late. Like I ended up going to bed like 11 that night, which is not good for me, but it's fine. And this was the work which I did. Yeah, and I ticked it off my to-do list, so I was ready for the next day, just a bit slower than I wanted to be. So when I got home from school, I tuned my radio to Classic FM, and I'm not going to pretend that I don't like this radio station. Like, it's really relaxing and the presenters have really relaxing voices. So if you ever need some sort of radio station to help you relax during schoolwork, I would recommend it. So tonight I decided to eventually at 9:30 get on to doing some maths questions, and I wouldn't usually revise this late, but as I procrastinated and I knew I wanted to revise every night of the week, I had to do it. So these were actually due after the holidays, but I just thought I'd get them out of the way since I'm away over the holidays. So I did all of the questions except the last one. The questions weren't that bad, so it was fine, basically. And then on Friday morning, I just spent like 10 minutes finishing off the last question of that paper before school, and I got up at 6 so that I could like get it done, so that's always good. And then on Friday night, it was actually National Pizza Day, and coincidentally we were going out for a pizza, so I basically got in and I actually got to work like before like 5 o'clock, so I just did an integration, We use this website at school called Integral, and basically we need to do some tests on there for the end of the holidays for kinematics. So I just quickly did one of those. I did one of the easy ones, so it literally took me like 20 minutes. So yep, but during the day we had actually had like an extra free period that we don't usually have, and I got some work during school time, like at lunch. So I didn't film that, but I promised I did it. So yep, on Friday I just did a quick little test. I got 80% on it, and it wasn't bad at all. So this was the test paper after I had finished with it. So yeah, it was really easy maths, like it was literally GCSE maths, so it was literally fine. And yep, I went out for my pizza. It was very nice. You'll see it in my vlog if you watch it. And I packed all my stuff away and basically just relaxed because it was the end of term and I was pretty relieved that it was over with. However, I've still got a lot to do, which I am doing today. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it kind of motivational. And if you are struggling with motivation for school, I challenge you to do this study with me every night thing. Like, you don't have to film it, just like try and do it every night, even for half an hour, just to say that you've done something every night, because it made me feel so productive. I'm not going to pretend it didn't. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and remember to watch Lily's video. Hers will be similar to mine, and she's doing GCSEs, so she will actually probably do more than I did. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye!